right, we want to welcome you into the Friday main event, Week 8. Mr. Teat, how about that?
Getting close, buddy. Getting close to playoff times.
All the experts say we'd never even have a football season, so we're to this point anyway. We've proven them wrong.
That's right.
Crazy week for me, Lee Teat. As we mentioned in our Facebook feed a little bit earlier, I try to put down 25 best games for Friday night. You know, we always throw a couple of games for Thursday night in. Friday, Saturday, and then I try to do all the research so we at least sound like we know what we're talking about here on this show. But these coaches are killing me, man. Not only has the COVID canceled certain games that we had planned to talk about,
Right.
they moved some to Thursday night. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little disclaimer on it. Good, thank you. I was trying to find a word that we may sit here and talk about a game that may or may not even happen this week. We may talk about a Friday game.
We got rescheduled for tonight.
That's scheduled tonight. So I did my best. I tried to move the games on our schedule as they, as we found out about them. So we'll see what happens anyway. But you ready to go, brother?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready to talk some games? Sure. We might as well as move and appreciate all the chat, man. If you're watching right now, man, get on the live chat. Talk it up a little bit. And I expect the crowd to be a little bit less tonight, Lee, because so many games got moved.
Well, there's also a lot of people out of town on fall break with their kids, too.
That's true. That's a good point. There's a lot of teams that off week because of fall break. So the crowd may be a little bit less tonight, but we're going to roll with it nonetheless. And what game you want to start with, my friend?
Go Maryville-Bradley Central.
Maryville-Bradley Central. That's a region game over there. Bradley's sitting at 5-1 now. Maryville at 6-0. I think Maryville won this game 47-7 last year. Lee, they've already got wins over Cleveland, Alcoa, William Blunt, Bearden. Of course, they beat Farragut, and then they beat Fulton last week 35-0. Shut out a really good Rob Black led program. And then Bradley Central, Damon Floyd, the head coach there, 42-25 over our buddy. Is that one of them you missed? That's one of them you missed, wasn't it? You took
I took Cleveland at home.
Took Cleveland at home, 42-25. Bradley Central won that game. But Lee, I don't know that you knew. I didn't know. Javon Burke was back last week. I knew he got hurt game one. I didn't know he was going to be back. I'm not sure Marty Wheeler, because I actually talked to him last week, and I'm not sure he knew Javon was going to be back. Javon definitely made his presence known. 237 yards, 2 touchdowns last week in that win. And, of course, knowing that up front definitely probably would have swayed your vote. And, will he be a difference tonight, I guess?
He's probably going to make a difference in the score, but Maryville doesn't lose region games. They haven't lost one in forever. I don't see how anybody could pick against them. I'm going to go with our fan base. 96% of them like the Rebels. Maryville, I'm going Maryville.
Parker McGill having a big year for him. Of course, you got Carson Jones starting at quarterback for Maryville. They got their own Burks, DJ Burks, really good athlete, playing good for the Rebels. I'm with you, Lee. I'm going to go Maryville. I don't see a region loss again. McMinn County is probably going to give them a good game. They got a good team this year, but man, I'd be shocked if.
Yeah, I don't see anybody beating them right now, buddy.
All right, so we're going Maryville. I'm sorry, man. There's a dead-gum gnat in here. I'm freaking, high on gnats. All right, Lee, we're going Maryville, brother. Next game. And, Lee, this is one, man.
Oh, my gosh, dude. This is the one that's been killing me all week long on this.
I would love to see this game. If I'm in Knoxville, folks, and you probably already know which one if he's talking about. Who we got? We got Jacket Lover. Everybody's Maryville, Lawman, Maryville.
Yep.
Nobody going out on a limb and taking defense is good. Oh, Holman.
He thinks Bradley Central's defense
is good. Okay, we'll see. That'll be proven out tonight. Of course, Maryville isn't really known for their offense this year in respect to what they've done in years past. They're a defensive squad this year. Powell and West, that's the game we're talking about, Lee. Two unbeaten teams, 7-0, 7-0. This is a region title right here.
Yes.
Oh.
Man, Mike, this game has wore me out all week long because Powell is explosive.
Yes.
Offensively with Potts, the quarterback there. He's just a sophomore, and then he's got two really good wide receivers that are sophomores in Redmond and Faust.
Yep.
Both them kids already got offers too.
Jaden Collins.
Yeah, I mean
he's also he's got over 400 yards receiving too.
Yeah, so they're stacked offensively, and they can put up numbers in a hurry. I mean, in a real hurry. But Lamar Brown has got a real good running back there in Isaiah Matrice, 6'2", 215 pounds.
He's a load.
You know, and he's huge up front. Got a big QB too, 6'3", 200-pound quarterback.
Yep, Baker Dance.
Man, this game has been all week. I've been thinking about this game, and I don't know because West is playing great on defense. Can they stop or slow Powell's offense down?
That's the question. Of course, Powell, they've beaten Beach, they've beaten Anderson County, they've beaten Fulton, they've beaten Carnes, they've beaten Knox Central, they've beaten Campbell County. Very well tested squad right there at Lee, and they've beaten some good competition. Flip side of that, West has beaten Farragut.
Mm-hmm.
They've beaten Carnes, Jefferson County. They beat a really good Joe Gaddis Oak Ridge team, Hardin Valley. That's beat. I don't know, man. I mean, both teams have played some good competition.
They've only given up 17 points total.
Exactly.
All year long.
Defense is tough, man.
Oh, and it says at West.
It's at West.
Oh my gosh, man.
This is a true coin toss. What have our guys got? Lawman says Powell. Jacket Lover says Powell.
Tolly's going
Big
West.
Daddy. Big Daddy's over there in that area. He says Powell.
He likes Powell.
Lawman's in that area. Tolly's, he's out. He says West, but hell, he's over in the West. He don't know what the hell's going on in this game.
Oh, come on now.
I love you, brother. I'm just messing with you. Holman is Powell. Make a pick, Lee. Pressure's on. It's on you, brother.
I'm going West.
You're going West. I was afraid you was going to do that. You know why I was afraid you was going to do that?
Why?
I was going to pick the same team.
Are you going West?
Yeah, Lee. I'm going West. Going West. I think it's a coin toss. I'm giving the home team the game. That's basically what I'm doing.
Man, Jordan Potts is for real.
He is for real. He's legit, and he's a gamer. I mean,
he is a gamer. You saw we posted that where he had that fourth quarter scramble to win a game a few weeks back.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going West. Our fan base likes
Powell.
The Panthers, 77%. And I can't argue with that.
No.
I mean, you got to look at the resume. Both teams have great resumes. So, I'm always, when I'm at indecision, don't know, I go with the home team. And that's all this amounts to right here. I'm going with the home team. Lee, and also it's potentially rain. Who benefits from that?
West.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Union City at Dyersburg. Union City, the Golden Tornadoes under new head coach Nick Markle lead, playing well, 4-2. Unfortunately, they run into Buzzsaw Peabody Pride, 49-7 last week. But I mean, Union County, they have beat Adamsville, they beat Fulton County, Kentucky, beat Gibson County, beat Jackson Southside. Their losses were to USJ and Peabody. The flip side of that, Dyersburg, they beat Brighton, Obion County, lost to Hardin County, which we now know is a very good team. Of course, they've only played 3 games because they've had a lot of COVID issues over there.
Right.
57% of our fan base like Dyersburg.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Interesting, huh?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about that?
I don't know about that, but I'm going to go Dyersburg, but I think it's going to be a real close game.
Lawman says Dyersburg.
Yep.
Big Daddy says Lee's going against the fans. I think he's talking about West.
Yep.
He didn't know I was going to go with you, I don't guess.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going Dyersburg.
Tolly likes Dyersburg. Jacket Lover likes Dyersburg. I'm going Dyersburg. I thought that Bart Stowe's team was going to be pretty good this year, Lee, and I just don't know enough about Coach Markle yet. That's kind of my issue. He may be the best coach in the history of high school football. I just don't know yet. We don't have enough data to put him beating a 4A team, 4A contender at this time.
Right. His 2 losses are to some tough squads.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Dyersburg is, I bet they come in really fresh. You know that.
Yeah.
Now, that
they
may
hadn't
be a
played
problem,
much.
though. That could be a problem. They're going to have to come in, cut down on some turnovers and, get the pregame stuff, jittery stuff out of the way. But I think Dyersburg can take them.
If they were primarily a passing team, I might have, some worries over timing and whatnot. But
they run that wing
T. Run that wing T. I like Dyersburg. I think it's going to be a good game, though.
All right.
Lee over here in Middle Tennessee, my boy Doug Garrett down there in Franklin County, he's pretty excited about the Rebels. That's another game that got moved to tonight. Originally was scheduled for Friday. Doug hit me up a couple of nights ago and said their game got moved. Brian Coleman's squad doing very well, considering the fact, Lee, that one of the weight guys is out. Of course,
I think it's Keaton.
We're talking about Keaton, the running back. He's been injured all year. Destin has played very well. 572 passing yards, 7 TDs, only 2 interceptions. He also rushed for 631 yards, 9 more TDs. And of course, we're talking about just 5 games, Lee. But flip side of that, Brandon King and Brady Pierce. I'm sorry, Brady. The 2 kids for Summit also having a big year. But the flip side of that, Franklin County sophomore quarterback Keiondre Johnson, he's having a big year. 710 yards, only a sophomore we're talking about now. 6 TDs, 4 interceptions. He's rushed for 160 yards. So, he can run the ball as well as he's been proven to be an accurate passer.
Wagner too.
That's what I was going to say. That may be the difference maker right there. Any chance that Franklin County gets upset here at home for new head coach Justin Cunningham?
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
No, I think Summit's better. One thing that I wish that Franklin County would do a little bit more of is they need to get Wagner the rock more.
Yeah.
We're sitting here 6 games in, and he's got 500 yards. That kid ought to have 160 a night.
He could carry the ball 30 times, 30 times a game.
They need to pound him, I think, a little bit more. I don't know if he's been nicked up or something like that maybe. I don't know about the injury situation, but just based on stats, with his stature and his size, they need to probably hand him the football.
He's a load, man.
25 times, 30 times a game. I don't see him doing it, but I think Coach Coleman's got too much over at Summit.
I agree with you, Lee. I like Summit to win this game, too. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what folks thought, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Franklin County with a big 15-11 win over Columbia last week. I don't think very many people, including you and I.
No, I didn't pick that game. I had Columbia.
Yeah, I did, too. So, Franklin County. And I told you when they beat Grundy County, I thought getting that, that feel of winning a ball game in this young Franklin County team, I thought that was going to, feed the flame, and it proved to be true last week. The defense played really well against Columbia, holding them to 11 points.
Well, I mean, their 3 losses they have 3 losses by a combined total of what is that, Mike? 9 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coffee County, Rockville, Lincoln County.
Oh yeah, all their losses were by 1 score.
Yeah.
And Cunningham's got a good background. He was at Rockville, he was at Smyrna, Springfield. Of course he's a Franklin County alum, so the dude has been around, man. He knows how to coach football, and I think it was just a matter of getting his kids to buy into what he's doing, and I think they're starting to buy in now. Summit.
I'm going Summit.
Summit, maybe closer than what we thought originally.
Yes, sir.
Marion County at Tyner, Lee, I think that's another game that got moved from Friday to Thursday. Yes, it is. The Warriors, 73% of our fan base like the Warriors. South Pittsburg loves the Warriors. I know that. Warriors are 3-2 now, 1-1. I think Marion County's beating Fayetteville, a very good Fayetteville team, which actually locked up the region title. We'll talk to Kenny Morson later on tonight. They beat Sequatchie County, Polk County, lost to Bledsoe County, and, of course, they had that forfeit to South Pitt that they didn't make up, which is still kind of sore topic for the South Pitt fans.
Yep.
And then look at that Tyner. They beat Chattanooga Central, Howard, Tellico Plains, lost to Bledsoe County, Georgia Force, and then lost to Alcoa.
Right.
So tough game right here, Lee. What do you think about this one?
Mike, I like Marion County. I think Marion County defensively is better. I do.
Marion County.
I think Marion held Bledsoe to 17 points, and Tyner gave up 42.
Yeah, that's. I think that's the only common opponent they have is Bledsoe, Lee. Games at Tyner. Not a lot of distance between these two programs, though.
No.
I don't know. I'm sure Marion traveled well, or as well as the COVID restrictions will allow you.
This is our first game in a while, too.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Looks like Darnell likes Marion, Holman likes Marion, Lawman likes Marion, Tolley likes Marion, Jacket Lover. What does he say?
He's on Marion.
Oh, he's still talking about he's like Justin Cunningham because he's a Springfield guy. All right, Lee. I'm gonna go Marion. I'm gonna make it unanimous. Tyner doesn't have a chance. How about that?
How about it?
All right, Gibson County at Waverly Central. Lee Randall Bolden squad 3-2, 2-1. They had a COVID loss to East Hickman, which they're not very happy about. Apparently, they got ruled eligible to play the Friday of the game, but East Hickman chose to go ahead and take the forfeit rather than play. A lot of, pardon my French, a lot of red asses over there in Waverly. I don't know the ins and outs of it, so I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get in the middle of it. But a lot of Waverly fans not happy they had to take a forfeit loss when apparently they were declared ready
eligible
to play.
Yep. Yeah.
Waverly has beaten Camden. They've beaten Hickman County, Scotts Hill. Their only loss on the field was to Huntington, Eric Swenson's squad. And then look at Gibson County. They've beaten Halls, lost to O'Brien County, Westview, Union City, and West Carroll.
I'm going Waverly Central, Mike, at home. I think they're, like you said, I think they're coming off of a bitter taste in their mouth, and they're probably going to try to take it out on Gibson County.
Gibson County was a pretty solid 2A team last year, Lee. 6-4, missed the playoffs, unfortunately. They did beat Union City last year, if I remember correctly. Lost to McKenzie 56-7 last week, so I'm not sure Cody Finley's team's quite up to where they were at last year, Lee. I like Waverly.
Yep.
I'll go with them. Looks like unanimous all
Waverly.
Waverly in the chat.
Yep.
What a shock. All right, Lee. Huntington and Wayne County. This is a Region 6 showdown here. Both teams undefeated in region play. Wayne County sits at 3-2. They've beaten South Fulton, Brewston, lost to Loretta, Summertown, and Riverside.
Yep.
So, what do you think about this one?
I like Huntington. Pretty big.
Pretty big. You think Eric Swenson's young squad has got their feet under them now?
I do, man. Their two losses are to McKenzie and Milan, which are 3A programs.
Well, McKenzie's 2A.
2A and 3A, bigger programs.
Right,
and then,
right. Two good squads.
Yeah, but I think Coach Swenson, like we talked about, he's real young. But I think at this point in the season, you're starting to see them play a little bit better football and a little bit – they're gelling better, and he's always going to have his teams ready going in towards late in the season, getting into the playoffs. But one kid to look out for in this game, man, is Wayne County's got a kid, Hunter Staggs, on that team, man. He's got 62 tackles already this year.
Yeah, he's been roaming, ain't he?
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. So he'd be somebody to go see.
Yeah, they'll probably have a hat on him, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Huntington too, Lee. Looks like Holman, Tolley,
everybody.
Darnell, Lawman, everybody, Jackie Lover, everybody likes Waverly. I'm sorry, likes Huntington.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Waverly. Hell, I don't like Waverly either.
They're all going Waverly.
They're going what?
You're all going Waverly. You talking about Wayne County?
Yeah. What did I say?
You said Waverly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went Wayne County. They both start with W. That's close enough. Quit making fun of me, Lee. You ain't supposed to point out my mistakes.
Okay.
Those guys kind of expect it. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Nobody likes Wayne County.
Yeah.
I don't like them either to win this game. Is that better?
That's better.
Happy. That's a shame. Happy Valley, Johnson County, Lee. And again, these are some games, Lee, normally I might not have on our Super 25, but with it being fall break, a lot of teams aren't playing this week. I mean, none of the Rutherford County teams are playing, I don't think. Well, you guys aren't playing, are you?
Yeah, we play tonight.
Oh, George Creek's playing tonight?
Plays Antioch tonight.
Oh.
At Antioch.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even know.
No fans allowed.
No fans. Well, there you go. So you ain't missed anything, right?
Yep.
But anyway.
No fans in attendance at a Metro game.
We got 2, 3, and 3 teams here. Happy Valley, they've beaten Cloudland. Well, I mean, hey, they beat Cloudland. Cloudland's a pretty good squad. Beat Cosby, Unaca, and lost to Hampton and Unicoi County. Unaca. What was we calling it for 3 years?
Unica.
Yeah, I think that's the correct way to say it. I got busted on that in our preview shows in the spring. Johnson County's beating Sullivan North, West Green, Claiborne. They lost to Sullivan East, Chucky Doak, and Hampton.
Yep.
Hampton's a darn good team.
Yeah, they are.
So, Lee Teat, who you like in this one?
I'm going to go Happy Valley.
Happy Valley. This was a game I added, so we don't have any Twitter feedback on this one.
I'm going to go Happy Valley on the road.
I'm gonna go with you. Johnson County's been pretty good in years past. You know, they had a couple of years where they were. I want to say they were undefeated recently. So they've have a history of having a pretty good squad over there under Don Curley. I'm sorry. But I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go Happy Valley.
Yep.
Coach Jarrett. DeKalb County, Smith County, Lee Teat. I think it's a game you may be at tomorrow night. Is that correct?
It's possible.
Kicking around.
Yeah, depends.
Tigers 67%. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got to go up that way, so if I swing by there, maybe.
Well, you got a little bit of history up in that area, don't you?
Oh yeah, I probably know everybody in the stands from both sides.
Scott Murray, head coach over there, 2-4, 2-1 in region play. More importantly, 24-16 winner over Sequatchie County last week. DeKalb County, very impressive win over Livingston Academy.
Oh man, buddy, I caught it on the chin on that one.
Yeah.
I heard about it too. Trust me.
I bet. Alex Aldino, he kind of came to play this year. He's not looked up to what he looked to be at the end of the year last year, but he had a big game, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he rushed for 3 touchdowns in that 38-14 win over Livingston. Big game for him. Does he repeat? What's your thoughts?
I like DeKalb County. I think they got this game pretty handily.
Jacket Lover says they're getting hot.
They are.
Does that scare you, Jacket Lover? That's a 4A team there, brother.
Hey, the 3 losses were to Warren County, sitting undefeated at 6A program, Upperman, which is a solid 3A squad, and then Watertown, who we think may be one of the best 2A squads.
Yep.
And those were early losses.
They're playing a lot better
now. So
I talked to one of their defensive.
Tested.
Yeah, I talked to one of their defensive coaches earlier in the year, Lee, and he wasn't real happy with how his defense playing, but apparently they got in there and cracked the whip, and they're playing a lot better.
Yeah, I'm gonna go DC.
I'm gonna go DC also. 67% of our Twitter followers at Tennessee Sports likes DeKalb County.
Yep.
Tennessee Sports on Twitter. If you ain't following us, you need to be. Lee, we're getting close to our coaches' interviews here. Don't let me run over here. McNairy Central at Collinwood. This was a COVID-added game. Collinwood, I think, originally was supposed to play McEwen. I believe.
I think that might be right. I think
remember. That's right. But Collinwood, 28-14 lost to Huntington's their last game. And then McNairy got that COVID win over Bolivar Central. 3-4, 1-2 on the year. McNairy Central, Lee, they've beaten Chester County, beaten Hardin Academy, Bolivar Central, obviously, with that COVID win. Lost to Hardin County, Peabody Westview, and South Gibson.
I'm going McNairy.
Go on, McNary. I'm real tempted to take Coach Scotty Hanna's team right here, even though it's a 1A against a 3A. I'm tempted.
Yeah, I'm going McNary.
I think. What's our guys saying?
They're going McNary.
McNary. I'm probably going to go McNary too. McNary was one of the only 2 7-3 teams to miss the playoffs last year. Lee, you remember that?
The quarterback's having a good year, man. Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
Get about 800 all-purpose yards.
Yep. 518 yards rushing. Yeah.
Passing and 200.
Passing and then 285. Yeah, you're right. 3 TDs.
Pretty good year.
Pretty good year. I'll go with you, Lee. I'm trying to pull the trigger on the upset here. You ain't helping me any. Let's talk about one more, Lee, and then we're going to get our coaches on.
Yep.
We got scrimmage video from Oakland and Brentwood last week. Me and you both went to that game. If you want to call it a game, I was shocked, man. Oakland.
My goodness, dude.
Ooh, boy, they are loaded, man. If you haven't seen a legit high school Class 6A team, this is one. I didn't think they could be any better than they were in 2018. When they shut Maryville out in the title game, I didn't think Oakland would ever have a better team than that. This team right here is tough, man.
Yeah, buddy.
They're tough. They're
They
loaded.
are tough.
All right, talking about Portland and Trousdale County, Lee Teat. Trousdale sits at 5-2, 2-1. They beat White House, Gordonsville. They beat Westmoreland, Macon County, East Robertson. Their losses were to Friendship Christian and Watertown by, I think it was like 3 points. But it was a real close game. Portland has beaten Forest. West Creek lost to Westview, Montgomery Central, Greenbrier, and White House Heritage.
Correct.
They did. That White House game was 32-31 last week. They lost that one, so they were in it. They were in it, Lee. But they are 0-4 in region play.
TC, buddy.
TC
on the creek bank.
TC, I agree with you, Lee. That's a game I thought about going to, but to be honest with you, I don't even think it's going to be that close.
No, I don't either. I think TC walks.
I'm trying to find a game close to go to in case it rains. I don't want to set the rain. I may go down to Moore County. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I think Trousdale County. What we got over here? Trousdale?
Oh, yeah, Trousdale.
Anybody going out on a limb? Nope.
No.
Lawn man, going TC. Jacket Lover. Hey, what was that? Oh, Hammonds is in the house. I didn't even see Hammonds in the house. What's up, Hammonds?
Tommy Jordan, too.
Clint Hammonds in the house. Marshall County. They got a big game tomorrow night, Lee. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Yep.
Already won that game once this year. They got to play it again. Got to do over. Giles County. All right, Lee, let's take a break right here, brother, and we're going to come back, and we'll have Knox Central head coach Nick Craney on with us next. You're listening to the Friday main event. I am Mike Molder. He is Lee Teat, and we'll play you some scrimmage video from Oakland and Brentwood.
Waves of County Athletics. Red zone, quarterback keeper. Red zone picks up 9, 2nd and 1. Great block by number 4, Walker Murrow on the edge. 1st and 10, midfield. Quarterback keeper.
All right, folks, we are back here Friday main event, Mike Molder and Lee Teat. We have been talking big games, Lee, both tonight and tomorrow night. A lot of big games on the slate tonight. But we've got one of the best coaches, I think, one of the best new coaches anyway, Lee, over in east side of the state. And we've got Knoxville Central head coach Nick Craney on with us. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
We are good, man. It's been a crazy year, hasn't it, Coach?
It has. It really has.
Well, you know, I think I was doing a little bit of reading, trying to research a little bit before we had you on. I think you're a 2010 graduate from Greenville. I believe that would make you a member of Kane Ballard's first championship team there at Greenville. We've got a ton of respect for Coach Ballard. We've had him on our show several times.
I love Coach Ballard. I was actually our 2010 senior class. We were the first senior class of his. We lost in the state championship game though. They won the next 2 years after we graduated.
Oh, okay. Well, I had that wrong then. Well, what did you take away from Coach Ballard? You know, as far as applying that to the way you coach, what did you value out of what your experience under Coach Ballard?
And Coach Ballard was the ultimate example of doing things the right way all of the time, consistently. To be successful, working as hard as you possibly can to push yourself to be successful in every situation, and not talking about it at all, but just showing up every day and putting the work in to do it. And I think from a coaching perspective, I valued that, or as a player, I valued that. But now in the role as a coach, he's definitely one of the people that I look to just absolutely, you talk about somebody who just shows up and works and doesn't talk about the work they're doing, but just does all of the little things right all the time. Yeah. He was that example for us as players, and is an example still for me as a coach.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, not many head coaches get their first shot at a head coaching gig after a team that's come off of back-to-back state titles. Being in Cookeville the past several years, we know your Bobcat defense, was a huge reason, we think, for those championship wins. Were you surprised when they named you as a successor to Coach Rosser?
I would just say, first and foremost, that I'm extremely blessed and thankful to be stepping into this role, and to have stepped into this role. It's a very, very fortunate situation, and I love, and he's still a great mentor to me, Coach Rosser. We hated it. We all hated to see him leave.
Yeah.
In the wake of that, I was excited to be able to have the opportunity to step into this role.
Awesome.
Have you had a chance to talk to him since him and his wife moved out of state?
Yeah, we still talk all the time.
He's a good dude. We think a lot of him too. Well, Coach, your team, you got off to a great start. You guys are sitting there at 5-1. I think you got one loss to a really, really good Matt Lowe-led Powell team. That wasn't a game I think you guys originally had to schedule. I think, COVID situations brought that match on. Did you or Coach Lowe reach out to get that game lined up?
He called me pretty early in the week. They had before even really we knew for sure if we were going to be canceled or not. Mm-hmm. And then when we did end up being canceled, he had reached out and we set it up. It was a good game for us to see where we're at. You can have a lot of success and win back-to-back championships, but doing what it takes to be successful all of the time. Your previous success doesn't buy you anything for future success. You got to put the work in every day. So it was good for us to see that there is absolutely still work to do. It was a good measuring stick for our kids.
Hey, man, that was a bonus game for us fans, man. I was tickled to death to hear that you guys had reached an agreement on that. Of course, that wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for this coronavirus. I feel like almost every team has been affected, at some point during the season as a result. I don't think you guys have missed any games yet. Have you had to sit any players yet as a result of maybe contact tracing or anything?
Yeah, so we have had some games. That game was a late scheduled game, and we missed a game that we haven't played since then. So the last 2 weeks we've been off, both for COVID reasons. Fortunately, we were able to reschedule one from last week to next week.
Right.
So we won't end up missing but one game on the field.
Okay.
But it's felt like a long time since we played, so we're looking forward to tomorrow. It hadn't been since the foul loss since we've been able to play.
Right.
So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to getting back out there.
Coach, speaking of tomorrow night, you're traveling over to your region rival, Knox Carter. How do the Hornets look on film to you?
They look good. They look good. They look very good. They got a good quarterback. They got good players all over the place, and they're playing together. They're playing with some confidence. They're definitely a talented region opponent, and they're going to give us their best game for sure.
Well, Coach, one of the best high school football quarterbacks that Lee and I had an opportunity to see, obviously, was Dakota Favre. He graduated last year. Junior Ryan Bolton takes his spot. I think he's passed for 944 yards, 7 TDs so far this season. How would you assess his place to this point for you guys?
He's done a good job of what we've asked him to do. We've asked him to make good decisions, to manage the game, to make the throws that are there. And he's done a good job of that so far. He's still got room. Still got a lot of room. He's got a lot of talent. But the more he learns, the more confidence he has, in our offense, the better I think he's going to be. So he's definitely still got some room for improvement. Made a couple of bad decisions in that foul loss, but that's expected of first-year guy in his first real big game. And so we're proud of what he has done so far, and we're excited for what he can do in the future.
Well, Coach Liam Fortner, he's been one of your main receivers the last 2 seasons. He's leading your team in rushing and receiving this year.
Can't say enough good things about Liam Fortner.
Yeah, if you lined him up in the backfield, are you using him in the Wildcat, or is he just, typical tailback stuff?
No, he's a Wildcat quarterback.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's what we kind of suspected. We saw the yardage. We was curious because I knew he was a receiver. I didn't know where he was getting that rushing yardage at.
Outstanding. Well,
yeah, he's done a phenomenal job, and he's got a real knack for seeing what we're asking him to see in that package where he's at the quarterback and making the decision between handing off, one run or pulling it and keeping himself on another run.
Right.
So it's been good for us. And he's done a really good job with that.
Coach, another kid that's contributed this year for you is Will Salway, a junior receiver. He's got 334 yards and 3 TDs. I'm sure you're happy that you got another threat there in the passing game with him. Yeah,
he's done a great job. Unfortunately, he got hurt in that PAL game.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's going to end up being pretty serious, so it's not likely that he's going to be back this year. So it's a big loss for us, but he's done a great job since that has happened. Staying positive, staying motivated to work to get back, and to get on a timetable where he's able to come back eventually. Whether it's this year or not, we'll see. But he's done a good job so far, staying committed to what we're trying to get him to buy into.
Well, sorry, Coach. Unfortunately, being over here in Middle Tennessee, that's one of the hazards of the trade. We don't know the lowdown on all the teams over there. We just all we can do is pull up stats. But yeah, like you said, he was having a
and he played most of the last game, but we hadn't played in 2 weeks, and so nobody really probably even really knows that he's out.
Well, I appreciate you making me not feel so stupid then.
No,
We're talking Bobcat football with Knox Central head coach Nick Craney here on the Friday Man Event. Coach, we feel, Region 2 and 3 definitely among the toughest to go through. The remainder of your schedule, we mentioned Carter. You also have Halls, South Doyle, Gibbs, teams that, probably better than what the record would indicate. Which of those teams do you feel may present, the toughest challenge for you guys?
They all have a different kind of challenge. I think, looking at those 4 opponents, and they're all opponents that, well, they're all obviously region games, but more so than just being region games, they're ones that really matter to the kids that play in those games.
Mm-hmm.
The Central Halls, the Central Gibbs, Central South Doyle, Central Carter, these mean a lot to the kids who are playing, on our side and on their side. And so, there's a lot of emotion that goes into that. For us as coaches, is getting our kids to play well all the way through, regardless of the emotion. And so it's going to be an interesting challenge for sure, and they all pose different threats. The South Doyle has been a game that has decided the region the last year, and over the last couple of years has been a really tough game. Gibbs beat us in the regular season a year ago, and they always give us a tough game. So it'll be all of the ones left are all important, and they're all going to be tough.
Well, Lee and I talk about this every year, man. We go through the spring, we kind of evaluate all the regions back in the spring, but 5A just gives us fits every year. I mean, just in the Knoxville area alone, you guys, you got Powell, you got West, you got Fulton, South Doyle, even Halls. I think, they're also were undefeated prior to all these COVID losses. But to me, that really makes the last 2 championships you guys have gotten even more impressive given the path that you've had to navigate to get there. It's pretty incredible the amount of talent in this classification, isn't it, Coach?
It is. It really is. And there's good teams every week, which is a good challenge. It helps, when you do get to the postseason, there isn't an opportunity really in the regular season to ever phone it in or coast. We got to be on our game every week, all the time, preparing for every opponent. Because we play really good teams, week in and week out. So I think that ultimately that helps us, especially when it comes time to playing playoff games.
Well, speaking of the postseason, Coach, we know that we obviously know how tough your Region 3 is, but you'll be against Region 1 when you enter postseason. What do you know about those teams up there this season?
I haven't seen on film very much yet from Region 1. I know a little bit about all of the teams,
right?
But there's always going to be one or two. I think first round of the playoffs a year ago, Davy Crockett gave us everything we could handle.
Right.
Down at halftime, had to come back to win that game, and you may think state champions, but we struggled to get out of the first round against Davy Crockett. So like I said, I think football in East Tennessee
it's good.
Is good.
Yeah, it's real good.
And we're fortunate for that because it makes us better. Every time we have a tough competition, there's an opportunity to get better if we win or lose. If we're able to learn and grow.
Well, Coach Craney, we really appreciate you jumping on with us, my friend. Congrats on that job. We felt it was well earned. I mean, as Lee mentioned, that defense has really had a whole lot to do with you guys making those back-to-back state titles, and obviously you had your fingerprint on that. And great job to you, brother. We hope we can get you on again with us again soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Have a good one. Bye.
All right. Lee, Nick Craney.
New coach.
New head coach over at Knox Central, man.
New to the show, new coach up there.
Yep. Doing a good job. 5-1.
Hey,
only loss was to Powell. I mean,
5-1, and like you said, man, those Knox Central teams that he was the DC for were good, dude.
Yeah, they were real good.
Coach Rosser's, you can't be around that guy and not learn something.
Exactly.
So I think that's a good hire, man.
Yeah, I do too. I think it was. I've heard grumblings that there's been a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for, Lee? A little bit of I don't know. Grumbling. Yeah. I don't know how you could be disappointed with what the guy's doing. I mean, he's 5-1. He's lost to Powell. I mean, how could you be disgruntled with the performance so far? But every team, it's you got certain folks. No matter what you do, you can't. I heard people grumbling about George Quarles.
Oh my
it's crazy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's doing a good job in our opinion. Would
I
you
think
agree?
so, absolutely. Sitting at 5-1, and like you said, 5A football in East Tennessee is tough place to play,
It is.
buddy.
It's very tough, and our hats off to you, Coach Craney. We think you're doing a great job. Lee, let's go ahead and play a little more scrimmage video for our watchers, our viewers, our listeners, and we've got Fayetteville head coach Kenny Morson up on the other side of the break. So watch a little bit of this Oakland offense, and we'll be back right after this.
Waves County Athletics. Red zone quarterback keeper. Red zone picks up 9, 2nd and 1. Wagner, the ball carrier, picks up a Brentwood, first down. First and 10 from the 40. The ball carrier. Another Brentwood first down. Great block by number 4, Walker Merrill on the edge. First and 10, midfield. Quarterback keeper. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Good.
All right, Lee, we are back. Friday main event. Good interview with Nick Craney, head coach over at Knox Central. We're going to head over to Middle Tennessee, Lee, our only Middle Tennessee coach for this week. We got Kenny Morson, head coach over at new head coach over at Fayetteville. Well, he's been there 2 years, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. 2 years. It's our 2nd year here. Yes, sir.
Well, how's everything going over there, man?
Hey, it's going well for us right now. We're excited about our kids, excited about our program, where it's headed. We just won the region championship this past Friday night, went 5-0 in our region and sealed up the region championship Friday night. Setting at 6-1, and it's just excited about the kids we've got.
Well, Coach, I think you spent 22 years down there in Decatur, Alabama as the OC, and then, of course, you came over to Fayetteville, as I mentioned last year. I know those towns really aren't that far apart, basically just across the state line. Have you got any family still down there at Decatur, and have any of them come up to watch your Tiger team since you've been coaching?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we did. We spent 22 years there. My family was my twin boys were raised there, and we've got our whole family up. And then, of course, my parents. I actually grew up in Florence, Alabama, which is right next to the other part of Tennessee, and that close to the line. So we've got family that can get by close. I've got a brother in Huntsville that doesn't miss a game. It's one of our biggest supporters. So yes, family's still close and still watching everything we got going on.
Good.
Well, Coach, you mentioned it earlier, but you captured the region title last Friday after your second undefeated regular season in Region 5. How sweet was it for the kids to lock up this region title with 3 games to go yet?
It was sweet. It was, and we play this obviously a tough region with Cornersville, Huntland, Moore County, Richland, Mount Pleasant. It's like murder's row.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And we had them all 5 in a row, packed in on our schedule. So it was a tough road for us, but just proud for our kids to get that championship over with. And not that we're gonna relax. We still got work to do. We still got to get better and get ready for the playoffs.
Right.
Right. Well, Coach, even though you did go undefeated last season on the field, you guys were forced to take some forfeit losses. How tough was that not only on your players last year, your seniors, but how tough was that on you?
It was tough all the way around. With the biggest loss we had last year, taking football out of the equation, was a young man that played for us that passed away in a car wreck,
Right.
Tate Tootin. And our whole focus when he passed away was we actually the morning after the region championship last year, he passes away, and our whole mantra and everything became state for Tate, and that was our whole focus. And then, to have it stripped away from us at the end was devastating. I mean, it was it was devastating for the kids, and obviously devastating for us as coaches. But to have to tell those kids after we practiced on Monday of the playoffs and had to tell them Tuesday that via a speakerphone interview with the kids over the while they're in the locker room and tell them, hey guys, we're packing it up, we're not going to get to play, was a hard day for sure.
Right.
And so we kind of went into the season with a little chip on our shoulders. We had something to prove, and hopefully we can just keep rolling. We had some unfinished business to take care of.
Well, speaking of unfinished business, Coach, you guys had a really impressive win over Cornersville to seal up that region title last week. I think the fact that you guys had to finish that game shorthanded, I think you had some ejections. You had some kids out due to this illness. The off week, it really comes at a good time for you guys. Maybe you can get some guys back healthy. You got a huge battle with Gordonsville coming up next week.
Yes, sir.
What's the current status of your team, and how many kids you gonna have available for that one?
It's a very unfortunate incident. I've got to commend our young men on. We never want anything like that to ever happen. But people are gonna post everything that they can post on social media and make it look like an ugly scene.
Right.
And we had 4 young men step off the sideline. One of them got maybe about 5 yards off. Our coaches corralled our players quickly,
Right.
And got them back. And it was in a response to an ugly situation that happened on the field, with our running back get slammed to the ground. And he didn't respond very well to it either.
Right.
On the field. And we had some guys, want to defend their teammate, but we stopped them. And the social media will say that it was a melee and all this, and it wasn't. I mean, our kids, we got them back, no punches thrown, but unfortunate that, and we told our kids, you can't come on the field.
Right.
It's on us, and so we'll have to sit those 5 guys again, the one that was involved on the field and the 4 that stepped off the sideline. We'll be without those. We'll get one back that's been quarantined, thank goodness.
Okay.
Back for that. So we'll be going in with a few guys missing for sure, and they're mainly defensive guys that will be sitting out. So unfortunate for us, but you know what? We got to get better. We got to learn from this, and we got to move forward, and we got to get other guys ready to play to step in, because you could have guys hurt at any moment.
Chance to build depth. That's the best way to look at it.
That's the only way to look at it. You're right.
Mike Molder and Lee Teat talking Fayetteville Tiger football head coach Kenny Morson here on the Friday main event.
Well, Coach, unfortunately for you guys, Gordonsville's off this week, so there won't be an opportunity to scout them tomorrow night.
No, it won't. We've exchanged film already with them, and they're a really good football team.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to ask you. Have you looked at their film?
We've studied them, and he and I, Coach Clemens, I got a great respect for him and the job he does up there, and they've got some really good players. We knew that last year. We were fortunate to get a win last year at their place, and knew they were young, and so they're a year older, a year better, and they're going to be tough rolling in here. So it'll be a good test for us, and we need that. Need to be checked every now and then and see where we stand. So it'll be a good football team. I know they're going to give South Pitt all they can give them on that side of it. So this will be a good test for us.
I agree with you. You know, Coach, one thing's really impressed me about this team, and you look, over your stats and everything, all your key positions, I think other than probably Pullen and Hopkins, most of the contribution is from underclassmen. You're going to get all these guys back next year. You got to be pretty excited about the future of this Tiger program.
Well, you're not supposed to let all that out the bag. We're hoping not. Hoping not everybody's looking at the roster that close. But yeah, we definitely do have some good young kids. We're up at a middle school championship game right now against Westwood, and our middle school's battling them right now for the championship. And our middle school program went 27-0 with the three of the classes that we got right now. So yes, they're growing up and coming to us, and our middle school guys are doing a great job with them. And so we just hope to keep rolling, keep doing what we need to be doing to get these kids right.
Well, Coach, one of those young kids you're talking about is your sophomore quarterback, Sam Holdmeyer. How would you assess his performance so far?
He's grown up a lot. He really has. He's got thrown in the fire with us graduating 3 quarterbacks and last year, and losing another one along the way. So he came in after 4 quarterbacks left us, so to speak. And then he's just been thrown in the fire, and he wants to be the guy. He wants to be the leader. And that says a lot about him as a young man, and being that young, he wants to be the guy. So that goes a long way to as his progression has gone for us. And he's, we got to trust him more. We got to let him throw the football. And we've relied heavily on the run. Obviously, that's no secret on film, but he's getting better and better every week.
Well, speaking of the run, you got another young guy back there in your running back, Keiondre Johnson, just a freshman, who's already rushed for 660-something yards this year and 5 TDs. How big of a surprise was he coming out?
Well, I know we're supposed to sugarcoat things as coaches and stuff, but that young man's special. We saw him in middle school, and he's been eye-opening for a while now. And we go to Marion County, that first game, 2A. That was an eye-opening experience for him, going straight from middle school to that level of football, and Marion County being a good football team.
Right.
Banged him up right out the gate, but he's bounced back, and he's gotten better every week. 15 carries last week for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns against a strong Cornersville defense. Says a lot about that young man. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Like I say, he's special. He can stay healthy, grow a little bit. I think there'll be a lot of interest in him down the road.
Well, Junior Graham Pace, he's leading the team with 10 rushing TDs, 412 yards. The fact that I think that the team is rushing for 200 yards a game, and I'm guessing kids like Junior Gus Hill, I know you got a special relationship with this kid. They're doing a really good job on that line, aren't they, Coach?
Yes, sir. Our offensive line coach, Rusty McIntyre, who's our offensive coordinator as well, he does a fabulous job with those young men, and they trust him. And they have gotten better and better every week, and we feel like that is probably one of our strongest areas on the team is our offensive line. And of course, I hope at some point they're listening to it and hear us calling them out, because they need to continue to get better and challenging them. But and they've again making some holes for these back. Graham Pace, they kind of call him Thunder and Lightning. He's that guy that's going to pound you and come right at you. KJ's that one that's going to run from you. So
right.
They kind of complement each other, and it's worked well so far.
What's the score in your game over there now?
I'm sorry?
What's the score on your game over there now, your championship game?
Yeah, we're up 12-8.
12-8.
12-8 right now. We've got the football driving. We hope we stick another one in here for half.
Good deal. Well, Coach, we're going to let you enjoy your game, brother. We appreciate you jumping on with us, and it's good talking to you, and hopefully we can get you on with us again.
Sounds good. Hey, I appreciate y'all including us and getting our program out there. We're wanting to we're trying to be noticed and trying to do things right around here, and we just appreciate things like this and getting our kids out there and getting them talked about. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well, good luck to you, my friend. Hopefully we can catch up with you again.
Absolutely. Call anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, Lee. I'm trying to hang up, but it ain't hanging up. There we go. Coach Kenny Morson, Fayetteville. Enjoyed that interview. Good
Me
dude.
too, man. And I tell you what, you can't argue with what his product's been.
Yeah, they've been very good, Lee. No
They
doubt.
are good.
I mean, they haven't lost a region game since he's been there.
They're good.
On the field.
Yeah, they're good.
I mean, you can't hardly beat that. Can't ask for much more than that out of a coach, can you?
No, sir.
Well, Lee, we've got it's the time in the program. Roy Dillard already telling us what we need to ask Coach Vic Grider here, so we probably need to go ahead and cut to a quick commercial here.
Yes, sir.
Play a little bit more scrimmage video and Horton one-hander. How about we show them that?
Here you go. This is a good one.
Yeah, this is right at the start of this video, so don't miss this. This is one of those blue chippers they got at Oakland High School right now. Check this out. You'll like this. We'll be back just a minute. All right, Lee, we've got Coach Vic Grider on with us, South Pittsburg. We already got Roy Dillard here in the chat session on YouTube telling us what to ask him, so I figured we better go ahead and get him on with us. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
All right, well, man, good to talk to y'all again.
You ain't worried about these Roy Dillard questions, are you?
No. I probably heard them all at some point, I'd say.
There you go.
Well, Coach, as we expected, you guys are undefeated at this point in the season. Unexpected is the fact that you've only played 4 games heading into week 8. You know, how big of a challenge has it been to keep your kids motivated having only played 1 game in the past month?
Well, I actually think we've handled it pretty well, to be honest with you. I mean, I think part of that is the fact that we knew Meigs County was looming in the near future. So, you know, obviously that game's going to get our attention, and
Sure.
our kids kind of challenge that's going to be for us. So, you know, I think that helped us tremendously, you know, kind of keeping our focus. I think the fact that, you know, the weather cooled off there a little bit for a while, I think helped. You know, kids get tired of practicing in really hot weather all the time. And I think we got a cool snap there at just the right time. So that made practice a little bit better. And then, you know, let's be honest, I got an old football team. You know, I got 32 juniors and seniors, and you know, they kind of know how to handle their business, you know, and we've got bigger goals down the road. So, you know, I honestly, you know, the last 3 weeks, I've been pretty pleased with what we've done.
Well, you know, you guys, I think you're of the 4 games you play, I think you're outscoring your opponents 48 points a game. So, you know, every team, you know, you have new dynamics. Even though you are a veteran team, you know, it's human nature to kind of wonder, you know, how the kids are going to respond when you eventually do see some adversity. You know, it's going to be good for your team, in my opinion, to finally see some solid competition tomorrow night, you know, as you prepare for postseason play. Don't you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, you know, I think Coach Fitzgerald would agree with me. And, you know, when we scheduled these games 2 years ago, we both did it for a reason, and that was to put ourselves against a quality opponent, you know, late in the regular season, and you know, give ourselves an idea of where our football team stood at that time. And you know, no doubt that last year we accomplished just that in that game. You know, we found out that we could probably go toe to toe with just about anybody, and obviously we both want to win the football game, but regardless, tomorrow night, we're both going to have a really good idea of where we're at and, what we need to work on, what we need to fix, and, whether we're good enough to be there at the end because I can tell you, if we can go up there tomorrow night and compete with this Meigs County team, we can play with anybody in our league. There's no question about it.
Well, Coach, much like your squad, the Tigers hadn't given up many points this year. Are you expecting to see kind of a defensive battle tomorrow night?
Well, I would think so. I think we're a pretty solid defensive football team. That's probably been the strong point of our football team during the 4 games that we've played is we've just not given up very much at all. And obviously they're really impressive on defense. I mean, they the thing with them, they've got a lot of people back up front on both sides of the football. And, you guys know it. That's where it starts. I mean, you can have the greatest skilled people in the world, but you got to have guys up front. And, they've got a lot of veteran guys that have played a lot of football. And it's going to be a challenge for us because, that's where we lost a lot of people. We lost a lot of people up front.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have some guys that's going to get put to the test tomorrow night really for the first time. And I'm kind of anxious to see how they react.
Well, I think you could probably make an argument, with the loss of Swafford, that may make them a little bit harder to defend. At least, when he was in the game, you knew where your priorities were. I suspect this year, a little harder to predict. Would you agree with that?
I would totally agree with that. I mean, I pretty much, I've told several news media already this week that, I think they're just a much more diverse football team. I think they're spreading the wealth around a lot more, and the Meadows kid is as good a running back as we'll see. They've got 2 or 3 wide receivers that I think are capable of making a play at any time, and I think their quarterback is doing an admirable job of filling in for Swafford. So honestly, I think they're spreading the thing around much more than they did last year. So when you put that together with a veteran offensive line, it creates a lot of reason for concern.
Well, Coach, I know many of your fan base over there in South Pittsburg hated to lose the longest-standing rivalry in the state when Marion canceled the game due to COVID. And I know that you guys made every effort on your end of this to get that game rescheduled. Do you think that game will be back on the schedule next season?
At this point, I hate to even speak to it, just to be honest with you, because you know how it is. Whenever you have a disagreement with somebody, sometimes the best thing to do is to let the dust settle for a while. And, that might be the best thing for all parties to do right here. I mean, our problem all along with the whole situation, I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Sure.
Straight. The timing of the thing is what got us, to get a phone call at 2:30 in the afternoon on game day. That's a little bit of a tough pill to swallow.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably the main thing with us. And then on top of that, the fact that we had a very real opportunity the very next day to reschedule the game when the Red Bank game was canceled with us, and the inability to make that happen. It's caused a sore right now.
Yeah, sure.
And we need to let that sore have time to heal. I guess so. I just hate it because my kids look so forward to that football game, and I know theirs do as well.
Right.
It's such a part of their life, and it's all that they've known, and to have that taken away from them, especially with everything that's going on this year, just really disappointing.
I'm sorry Lee Teat picked at that scab, Coach. I know you was trying to heal from that, so I apologize for that.
We'll let
Well,
He's gonna
Coach,
put me in a headlock the next time he sees me, Mike.
He's gonna have you in the owl house.
I know
That's
it.
what Roy Dillard said. I guess you done heard this. Apparently, I don't know if I did. I know Lee picked Meigs County.
No, Lee didn't either.
So Roy Dillard said you're gonna make us sit up in the outhouse out there next time we come over there. So
I'll have to converse with Roy later and get a game plan together.
yeah, you might have to. Well, hey, Coach, you guys, I think you probably got one of the largest rosters you've ever had, on that team. You got like 70-something strong there. We've mentioned a lot of teams have been affected by this COVID stuff. Obviously, Marion County and you guys have had to pick up some COVID wins as a result. Have any of your kids had any issues, contact tracing, had to miss any games?
No, we have been very fortunate, and I think a huge part of that is probably, and I don't know the exact number, but probably 80% of my football team has chosen to go virtual, which means they're not at school.
Yep.
You know, which I think that's a big positive.
Lee Teat did the same thing with his son, so we understand.
Yeah, the fact that they're not around each other during the day and they're not around the rest of the student population, I think that's a big positive for us. That we've been able to avoid it, and knock on wood, I hope we can keep going because I think we've got a special football team that's got a chance to do something really good at the end, and we're just trying to do everything we can to keep from messing it up.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach, you talking about a special team here, man. We see the stats on Hunter Frame. He's having a huge year for you guys. And then you got Chris Jackson, DeAndre Kelly, Jaden Mount. Man, you just have so many options there in the backfield. Speak about that.
Well, speaking of Hunter, I mean, Hunter looks like a senior veteran football player should. He just like he's got something to prove, and he realizes this is his last go around. And Hunter's been a good player for us for a long time. He's played a lot of football for us. And, Hunter's just a program guy that has put in his time and has, been on our team for 4 years and played a lot of football. And everything good that's happening to him, that guy deserves it because he's worked for it, Well, we need to get DeAndre Kelly healthy. You guys probably don't know, but he got hurt the first game of the year, got a high ankle.
I didn't know that.
He took a few weeks off, and he came back over there at Huntland the last time we played and kind of re-aggravated it. So, we've pretty much decided to shut him down till the regular season is over and hopefully have 100% by the time the playoffs roll around. But I hate it for DeAndre because he worked really hard in the off season and put on some good weight and was going to have a breakout year. But we still got a lot of season ahead of us, so he's going to get his chance. And then those two other guys, Chris Jackson and Jaden Mount, are just program guys, and it's finally their opportunity. They've been with the program and it's their chance to play, and they're making the most of it. And that's what we've made a living on is guys that's been in the program, and when it's their chance to shine, they figure out a way to shine, and those two guys are great examples of that.
I didn't know that about DeAndre. That makes sense. I knew his numbers were down, but that makes sense. I wasn't aware of that. Well, Coach, your quarterback, Braden Sanders, 3-year starter now. He makes great decisions, I feel, as a signal caller. He and you and I have talked about this. He provides a legitimate threat in the passing game, and I know Braden – he's also a very solid baseball prospect. Has he made a decision yet as far as what he plans to do, when he gets to that next level?
No, and I'll be honest, I've talked to him a lot about it and kind of told him that, the best thing for him to do is take his time and make sure he does the right thing and figures out what's going to make him, the most happy. But Braden, really good, complete athlete, pretty much anything he decides to do, he's pretty successful at it. But, football-wise, Braden has, he just does everything that winning quarterbacks do. He manages the game. He doesn't get you in bad situations. He doesn't turn the football over. And, just honestly, he's got some really good people around him right now, too. The last few years, we've kind of been a one-hit wonder out there at wideout. We graduated Jalen Hubbard, who was a really good player out there at wideout. But, I think the addition of Reggie Hunt, a transfer that we got from Hickson and Chattanooga has really helped us there in the passing game. And then we've had some younger guys that more on program guys that have kind of stepped up into their spot. And, Jackson Lewis and Kobe Cooper. And, we got several guys that just have the ability to make plays. And, we can spread the field with a lot of really big 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" type guys. And, in our league, that can cause some mismatch problems.
Well, Coach, in the off season, man, you guys went out and snagged a pretty daggum good defensive coordinator in Brad Wagner. How well is he fitting in over at South Pitt for you, buddy?
Hey, I don't know that it could have been any smoother a transition because I lost a really good football coach.
Yes, sir.
Shawn P. He took the head coaching job down at Chattooga County in Georgia and took my offensive line coach with him and Freddie Kidmore. So it was a bad off season for me. A head coach, if there's two things you don't want to lose, it's your defensive coordinator and your offensive line coach. I lost them both in one day. So, we were scrambling there for a while, but I think it says a lot about where our program is to be able to go out and snag a guy like Brad Wagner because his resume speaks for itself. I mean, this guy has coached football on the biggest level and has been successful at just about every level he's been at. And the kids immediately took to him and trusted him and believed in what he was selling. And him and his family have just been a great addition to the South Pittsburg program. And man, I hope that guy stays around here a long time, because not only is he a quality football coach, he's a quality person.
Yes, sir. We think a lot of Coach Wagner, man. He's one of our favorites.
Yep, he's a good dude.
Good one.
Well, Coach, we've got live chat up on our YouTube channel as we talk to you, and I want to close the show out with you on here with a Roy Diller question, if that's okay with you.
Oh, my goodness. Let's hear that.
He wants to know if you'll throw the Hail Mary against that Fitzgerald man on the first play. He guarantees you he won't be in the prevent defense yet.
He must have a copy of my game plan, because that was number one on the chart to throw the play. So,
see, Roy, you blew it. You blew it, Roy. You messed the game plan up. Oh, man. Well, Coach Grider, hey, brother, we Lee and I, man, you're one of our favorites. We love having you on the show. That's kind of – Lee and I look at South Pitt as our home away from home. You guys always welcome us in there, and without a doubt, our favorite place to go every year. And, hey, man, we're behind you. We're hoping like a devil that we're going to get to hang out with you up in Cookville this year.
Well, man, I hope it happens. It's always great to talk to you guys. Y'all welcome over here anytime. You know that.
Well, Coach,
right.
Good luck to you, my friend, tomorrow night, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Coach.
Lee, if I pick against South Pitt tonight, they're probably going to shoot me over there. But you're going to have to watch the end of the show to see that, though. That's the last pick of the show. All right, Lee, we run over, my friend.
We got to get Coach Witten on.
Yes, sir. We got to get him on real quick. I'm just going to cut to a real quick scrimmage video while we get on the phone, folks, and we'll be back after this.
Push it, push it, push it.
That's complete for Walker. 14-2, third and goal.
All right, Lee, we are back. And again, as I mentioned last segment, we're running just a little bit up behind. This is the Friday main event. We just got off the phone with Coach Vic Grider. We got another defending state champ over there in the East Tennessee side of the state.
Yes, sir.
We had Nick Craney on earlier, Knox Central.
Yes, sir.
We got Elizabethton head coach Shawn Witten on us. Coach, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on again. Doing great.
Hey, we appreciate you jumping on with us, Coach. You guys tearing it up again this year. You pretty happy with how the team's playing?
Well, there's no question. You know, our destiny this year is the road games. You know, our road to the championship again is going to be on the road. Last year we were so fortunate to have the majority of our big games at home. This year our big challenge is on the road. So, you know, you find a lot about your football team when you go on the road. And we got some really tough games that lie ahead, you know, and we're just like any other team. You know, we got the same challenges, you know, really trying to make sure our guys are staying and doing what they need to do. And then we're looking forward to finishing strong.
I think your streak now is at 21 in a row. I think you guys are tied with Maryville for the second longest, right behind Peabody. Coach, I think Daniel Boone was the only team that's really threatened you guys this season. Were you at 100% when you played those guys, or what happened in that one?
Well, you know, obviously, Daniel Boone's a really good football team. You know, they have 21 seniors. They're really big and strong. And then, you know, we're not a team that's going to make excuses. We actually had 5 guys out. 3 of them were starters for contact tracing purposes. Three of them were on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But, Daniel Boone played really well. And, when we look back on this season, the Boone game will be a defining moment. On the road, first time we've been on the road in a long time. We had 3 consecutive road games this year. Last year, we finished the season 6 or 7 games were at home. So, you talk about the first time we went on the road this year, we faced some adversity. We blocked a field goal to win the game. Mm-hmm. But, those games like that are really good for your programs. They're really good for your
character
teams.
builders.
You learn a lot about you learn a lot about yourself in those games. And so, from that point on, we just really clicked. We challenged our group to get better. Last week, we had a great performance against William Blount. We had 3 turnovers in the first half. We had a pick 6, another interception, a forced fumble. We scored 21 points in the first quarter. We look like ourselves from a year ago.
Well, Coach, you're averaging 48 points a game, and you're only giving up 10. That's pretty gaudy numbers. But, is there any particular area on this team where you don't feel like you've reached your potential yet?
Well, I think that, we've had 2 games this year where teams have really thrown the ball against us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's honestly some great work. The other couple of games where teams really run the football and we're really challenged there. We learned a lot of valuable lessons a year ago as we went through the season. Times when we didn't have great special teams, times when we went through the season we really didn't get challenged in the secondary. So we've done a better job of just coordinating practices, making sure the guys are ready to go, make sure that we don't have any flaws, and so,
right.
I would just think that, sometimes as you go through the season, you don't emphasize certain things. For instance, we haven't punted in 3 weeks, and all of a sudden you get into a game against Greenville or get a game against a tough opponent, you got punt 4 or 5 times, you just got to make sure you're working on those things. But I just think that last week was the first week for us that we really, we felt the offensive line presence. We returned every one of our offensive line. We got a great run game, got a great quarterback. But last week was really where we put our foot down and we ran the football. We got after it up front. We showed the physicality, and so we're going to really rely on our run game heading into this final stretch of the season.
Well, Coach, I know Union County had to cancel for COVID this week, but I think that's the first time you guys have dealt with a cancellation this season. Did you try to pick up an opponent for tomorrow night, or are you just happy to be able to have the extra week to prepare for Greenville?
No, we always want to play. I mean,
right.
We're never going to really shortfall our kids. We reached out to a dozen teams, offered to feed them and pay them and pay for the travel. So there's a big game up here like Davy Crockett and Cherokee canceled. We try to pick up some local teams. We try to reach out to some other teams that, we possibly could pick up, and just, everybody's fighting the same battles we are, and
everybody's scared of you, man.
Yeah, well, but,
hey, I'll say it. I know you can't say it.
Yeah, you never want to not play. You never
right.
want to not put your kids in situations. And the other thing that's tough for us in East Tennessee is, without Virginia and North Carolina playing, you can't really cross the path to really pick up those games. So it really becomes tough. The biggest thing, guys, is, if you're going to have a chance to win it, you got to have your best players on the field. And we learned that last year. You got to keep your guys healthy. You got to keep them injury free. And so this gives us a chance to be ready and to have no excuses next week.
Well, talking about your best players, Coach, you got our boy, 2021 Mr. Football front runner, Bryce Rollins. He's having another huge season, completed 73% of his passes, 1,072 yards, 16 TD passes to 2 interceptions. Bryce has also rushed for 413 yards, 9 TDs. I think anytime he's lined up behind center, a team has a chance to win. Would you agree with that, Coach?
Spot on. I mean, you couldn't be more correct. Just the ability to run the football, throw the football, extend the plays with your feet, and then, when you get closer to the red zone, you get closer to the goal line, I mean, he's just got a nose to get that football in the end zone. And, he's complimented by a great group. I'm not sure that there's a quarterback out there that has, a good receiving core, good depth at running back, and then, every one of your offensive linemen returns from a year ago. So, I just think that, he understands that he's surrounded by a great group. He's extremely blessed. He would be the first one to admit that. And then if anybody knows Bryson, knows that he's a cool kid. He's laid back. He's a competitor on the field. He's an easygoing guy. He just does a great job with myself and just communication because, you just don't get too fancy with Bryson. You just stick to the basics. You run the fundamentals, and he's going to definitely pull you through. But, as a starting quarterback, he's won 21 consecutive games. I mean, he's definitely got it going for right now.
Well, we've got Springfield coaches, Springfield fans watching the show right now. One of them just said, "I saw plenty of Bryce in Cookeville last year." That's funny.
Well, Coach, you also got sophomore Nate Stevens and senior Ladarian Avery who are having great seasons. Each have 5 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns so far. Talk about how they complement Bryce back there.
Well, those guys are obviously the missing piece to our offense. Those are the guys. Nate's got the speed to be the home run guy. I mean, I think Nate's the triple threat, the X factor to our offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Bryson and Parker Hughes on the outside, we get those guys going. Nate's the guy that when people focus on Bryson, he's the guy that can slip away from him. I mean, he's a home run threat. He's the guy that can really make teams pay. Ladarian does a great job. He's a senior. He's a bulldozer type kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's 5'10". He's really strong, really explosive, and we do a great job with him of countering just because he does a great job of lead blocking for Bryson. He can set the edge. He can lead up in the whole line, the ISO some linebackers. He does a great job there. So I think the missing piece to our offense the next couple of weeks, we started it last week, just being able to get those guys going, and I mean, you got 2 guys on the offense that gets all the attention. And when people's eyes start focusing on number 10, they lose sight of number 21 and number 33. And I think those guys are destined to have strong seasons here, towards the finish. And I think they're going to be big. I think they're going to be big for us, heading into these last couple of regular season games and into the playoffs.
We're talking with Elizabethton head coach Shawn Witten here on the Friday Main Event. Coach, I was sitting there talking about Bryce being the front runner for Mr. Football, but you guys have actually got another kid on that team that may take some votes away from him. And, of course, I'm talking about senior wide receiver Troy Parker Hughes. I think he's got 2,535 receiving yards on his career, 43 TDs. What a phenomenal career this kid has had for you guys. I don't know, but I'd assume, he's probably, if he doesn't have it, he's closing in on a Betsy career record there for receiving yards. Has he got any colleges looking at him? And if so, what way is he leaning for his next level play?
Well, I mean, he's a blessed athlete. We're lucky to have him just because, when people load the box, it leaves mismatches for him on the outside. Last week, we started the game and William Blunt tried to double team him. Well, then they can't stop our run game. And so, the ability to go deep, and have that combination, a guy that can go get it and make plays, that's what Parker brings to the table. But he's even a better kid, and it's really disappointing because the way that, with the COVID situations, the way that college football has really unfolded this year, that this kid has really missed out. He's missed out on schools coming to watch him spring practice. He's missed out on getting on campus this fall and summer. He's really, with the small schools, 1AAs or, delayed their season, he just hasn't gotten the notoriety that he deserves. I think there's one school in particular right now that's kind of close quarters. Appalachian State is a team. Coastal Carolina is a team that, those 2 guys are looking at him. App State, being up in Boone, North Carolina, he's got a great shot at there. I think Parker's going to be a steal for anybody. I think schools across the state, especially in 1AA areas where like Chattanooga or MTSU or ETSU, Austin Peay. I think Parker is going to be a home run player.
Yep.
He's physically strong. He's explosive. He's got a great football IQ, and you know he's been the key for us at this first part of the season. I mean, people just haven't been able to cover him, and people have been trying to take our run game away so much that they've allowed corners just to be out there by himself, and they can't cover him one-on-one. So we just got to keep him healthy, keep him going. You know, sometimes he gets a little antsy that we're running the football and trying to put the game away, and we know that he's our big play, so that we're going to need him to play big the last couple games. And but you know, last week he had 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown. You know, when they throw that ball up, he's just having a great year offensively and defensively.
Well, Coach, you know, we mentioned Greenville a bit earlier. This huge rivalry game. You know, it's awesome game. We got to attend it a couple years ago, and it was probably one of the largest, if not the largest crowd I've ever seen for a 4A game. How many are they going to allow into their stadium? Do you know?
Well, I think they've you know, allotted a little bit more tickets. You know, good thing for us is, you know, Greenville and our stadium both, you know, have a good stadium. You know, and I think that they're going to allow, you know, a little bit more than normal. That's what's kind of disappointing with high school football right now, guys, is, you know, that some of these games, you know, there should be large crowds for a lot of these games, and I think that's where a lot of the kids, you know, that are, you know, not getting the respect or not getting the eyes that they deserve, you know, because a lot of these games should be standing room only, you know, and I think Friday night would be that game.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Here's the biggest the biggest number one fact coming out of our game versus Greenville is the in the last 4 years the state champion has come from the winner of this game, because the loser has to go to Anderson County to play in the playoffs.
He's reading your notes.
and when you have to go play Anderson County, if you can survive that game, and I say if you survive that game, then you have a back-to-back game against a really two tough opponents. You know, if Greenville beats Anderson County like they did last year, then they have to come back to playoffs. So there's some bumps and bruises along the way. We know that because in 2017 and 18, we had to do the same thing. We just couldn't do it, you know. And when you have to go to Anderson County to play, it's really tough. And then, like I said at the start of the show, this year the road is going to be on the road to the state championship. Your destiny is going to be on the road. You're going to have to go to play in.
Yeah, Tullahoma. You talking about it, because you guys, whoever comes out of y'all squad, you got to go to Tullahoma or Marshall County or possibly Nolensville.
We got you know, we played Nolensville last year, guys, in the semifinal. I mean, that's a 4-hour trip.
Yeah.
Plus to change the time zone.
Yep.
You know, so
and
then if you do that the second round or you do the third round, you got to go play, then you got to come back, then you got to go do it again, then you got to come back, you got to go do it again.
It's tough.
We know what we're up against here the next couple weeks.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, man, I don't want to hold you up, brother. We've kept you longer than what I meant to, but man, we love talking to you, dude. You're doing a heck of a job over there.
You guys do a great job, you know, and it's all about promoting the kids and promoting the programs, and we appreciate it, and we look forward to talking to you guys again later on in the season.
Absolutely, that is definitely our plan, my friend. We will definitely try to get you on with us again if your schedule allows it. And Lee and I, again, thank you, and we appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir. God bless, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
I could talk to that dude all night, man. Who was that long man said he was the best player he'd ever seen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard he was really, really good. It's surprising, you know, his brother Jason's playing, well, how many years with the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh, my gosh, he's like indestructible.
Yeah, so that's saying a lot. Longman says he was better than his brother there at Elizabethton. All right, Lee, that's going to conclude the coaches' interviews. Do you need to wet your whistle, or are we ready to roll out in the games?
Hey, we can roll right on in. I'll wet my whistle right now.
All right, well, you wet your whistle there, my friend, and I'll get our cheat notes pulled up here. Are you guys ready? Over here, you pickers?
I think they're ready to roll.
You ready to roll? All right, Lee. You have to remind me where we was at. We got Trousdale out of the way, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll move on to Stratford Pearl Cone. Lee, I don't think we'll have to spend a lot of time on this because I got to watch Pearl Cone. Martino Owens had a big game last week, 18 to 33, 153 yards, 2 TDs in that win over a very good East Nashville team. That game was close.
Pulled away late.
Yep.
I like Pearl.
Yeah, I do too. Stratford's kind of struggled. Got beat by the new Green Hills program, 52 to 6. I'm not really sure what's going on with Thomas Porter's squad. I thought they were gonna be pretty good this year, but you don't know.
Yeah.
This day and age, man, they could have had 10 or 15 kids out with COVID. Who knows? So I don't want to be too judgmental, but I think Pearl Cone wins that game.
Yeah, I think so too.
Here's the game, Lee. What do we got? Everybody PC. That's what I thought. Here's a game I may attend tomorrow night, Lee, because it's close and it may be raining, so I can get home very quick if rain comes.
Yeah.
I had considered going to Cleveland and watching them play Shelbyville, but I may stay local considering the projected weather. Joe Burns at Moore County. The Moore County Raiders, 78% of our Twitter followers like Moore County. And you can get on our Twitter account, Tennessee Sports, every week, Lee. If you guys are watching the show, we put the 25 best games out on a poll, and we love for folks to pick those games.
Yeah, chime on in.
We'll get a little bit better, idea of the pulse of the state on the games. And Moore County, 78% of people like the Raiders, and I like the Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders big, buddy. Moore County big.
Yeah, quarterback Kyler Parker, he's having a big year for the Raiders. 961 passing yards, 10 TDs, 3 interceptions. He's rushed for 429 yards, 6 TDs. Coach White's son, Caden, having a big year for them as well. Both of his kids are having a great years for Moore County. Caden is the leading receiver, I think, 322 yards receiving.
Yeah, Parker's playing lights out.
He is having a phenomenal year. Kenneth Parker, his dad, Lee, good friend of mine. If you need any insurance over there in Coffee County, you can go hook. He can hook you up. Coffee County, Moore County. Dobbins Bennett, that's free advertising there, Kenneth. You owe me a Coca-Cola if I come over tomorrow night.
This is an interesting game right here, Mike.
Dobbins Bennett at Farragut. It is a very interesting game,
sir.
Lee. Farragut junior quarterback Dawson Moore has thrown for 1,113 yards, 13 TDs, 3 INTs. Senior Matt White has 502 receiving yards for Farragut. Your thoughts?
Man, I don't know. This game has been. I think Farragut up to this point might have played a little bit stiffer competition. Not much, but a little bit stiffer.
Oh, dude. You looking at the score updates Jackie Lover's putting in there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I think, Farragut's beat Bradley Central, Oak Ridge, Boystown, Science Hill, but they lost to West and Maryville. That's a murderer's row schedule already for Farragut.
Oh, yeah.
DB sitting here at 6-0, but have they played that same
They
schedule?
beat Tennessee, Oak Ridge, Bearden, and Hardin Valley. Oak Ridge is a very solid team.
They
Tennessee's good.
Mike, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going Farragut.
Win Farragut. Interesting.
At home.
Well, I mean, that was a very close vote total. I actually considered going with the underdog as well, Lee. I think I'm gonna stay with the Indians though.
DB.
Yeah, I had them real high in our preseason poll. They're still undefeated, so it wouldn't make much sense to go away from them at this point in the season. So I'm going to stay with the Indians of Dobbins Bennett. Huntington and Wayne County. Huntington, very young. Have we already talked about this game? Did we talk about this game already, Lee? I think we had. Did we not? Did we? Is this a game that got moved?
Yeah,
I'm getting a deja vu.
It got moved, Mike.
Yeah,
Yes,
we already talked about it.
It got moved.
My apologies, folks. As I said, I did move that up to talk about it, but I didn't take it out of the games for tomorrow night. So, needless to say, we'll just skip over that. And I was like, man, I'm pretty sure we talked about this game. Sorry about that. White House Heritage Lee travels to White House, and we got some Patriot fans that follow the show, Lee. Stetson Dickerson's squad doing really good, 5-2, 2-2. Did fall to Creekwood last week, 35-19.
Creekwood's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think we both had Creekwood in that one. What's your thoughts on this one?
I like the Patriots.
Like the Patriots. Yeah, since Coach Porter retired there at White House, they just hadn't had the same tenacity, I guess, for lack of a better word. 2-4, 1-1. They did beat Portland 32-31 last week. White House is let's see, Lee. I'm sorry, let me move my notes over. They quarterback has rushed 224 yards, scored twice in a 32-31 win in that game last week.
In overtime.
That's Raymond Blackburn, is who I'm referring to.
Right.
You're going You're going Patriots.
I'm going Patriots.
I'm going to go Patriots also, Lee. I agree with you, brother. Houston County at West Carroll. This is two teams we were very, very high on preseason. We thought West Carroll would represent, if I remember correctly, the west side in the 1A bracket, but I don't know. I mean, I know COVID has affected them a lot so far. 3-2, 2-1. Quarterback Andrew Meadow leads the team in passing and rushing.
Mm-hmm. I think that's Coach Orman Meadows' son.
Yeah, I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about. Houston County leads the team in passing and rushing. They're 1-5, 1-2. Lee, they're another team that's been hit hard with this virus stuff. Lost to Riverside big, 51-16. Tolly's boy, I'm sure he had another big game.
Yes. West Carroll.
West Carroll, you think they're starting to see the light?
I think West Carroll.
14-7 over Gibson County last week.
Yep.
They
at
got
home.
A big tight end, Jack Barrow. I think there's a lot of teams looking at him at the next level. 6'5", 210. I'm going to go with you, Lee. I'm going to go West Carroll. I think the War Eagles are finally on the war path. I think they're playing better now. What we got over here?
West Carroll.
West Carroll.
A lot of people went White House,
Jack
though.
Lover likes West Carroll. Oh, did he really?
White House Heritage, yep.
Interesting. Cloudland and Hampton, Lee.
This is going to be a pretty good game. You think?
I don't think it will.
Think Hampton?
Yeah. My buddy up at Unicoi County said this is the best Hampton team he said he's seen in years.
Yeah.
They're 5-0. They beat Sullivan North 49-0 last week. They've also beaten Unicoi County, as we mentioned. Happy Valley was a pretty good squad. They beat Cloudland 34-12 already. I think it's the second time these teams have played.
Well, it's what makes it interesting to me.
Yeah,
So,
and Giles County and Marsh County will be the same
that's
situation.
Right. Is Cloudland learn anything from that first one?
I don't think it's going to matter. I think the talent level is just there's too much discrepancy there.
Yeah, I like Hampton too. I just wonder if it'll be a little closer.
It might be a little closer. Could be worse. Who knows?
At Hampton.
At Hampton, yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking it may be a little bit worse. To be honest with you, Lee. I think that Hampton squad is a team that Trousdale County and Watertown and Meigs would have to face them first. I think Meigs had better be careful with this Hampton team. What I'm hearing, the grumblings I'm hearing over there, Mike Lunsford's squad is for real. So Jason Fitzgerald, you've been served there, buddy. Be aware, this is a good Hampton team right here. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Midway at Harriman, Lee. Midway 4-2, 1-1 in region play. Harriman not having quite the success. 2-5, 1-2. This is a region game, Region 2 contest. Harriman has beaten Wartburg. Sunbright lost to Kingston, Coalfield, Monterey, Rockwood, Oliver Springs. What we got over here? No response.
Yeah, I'm going Midway.
I'm going Midway. I think the Green Wave win this one. Harriman won this game 21-20 last year, but I'm going Midway this year. Knox Central and Carter, Lee Teat. This is the one we talked to Coach Craney about earlier tonight.
Right.
Carter's beaten Campbell County, Seymour, Lenore City, beating Ray County in overtime. I'm sorry, they lost to Ray County in overtime, and then they lost to South Doyle.
That's right.
So they're sitting at 5-2, and again, this is another Region 2 matchup over there in that tough 5A classification.
That's right.
South Doyle still, both these teams I think still have to play South Doyle. Oh no, I'm sorry, South Doyle's already beaten Carter. Central still got to play South Doyle.
That's correct.
What do you think about this one?
Mike, I'm gonna stay with Central.
I like Central also.
I'm gonna go with Central.
Chandler Wilson, the quarterback at Carter, he passed for 379 yards, 5 touchdowns. So, Coach Craney and them and his squad, they'll have to keep an eye on him. He's maybe outside of Potts at Powell. This may be the best quarterback they've seen, I'd say.
I'd say so, but I think they'll probably put a little heat on him. I just like Knox Central on the defensive side of the football, so I'm going to go with Knox Central.
Big Daddy says Knox Central. Jackie Lover says Knox Central. Everybody's Knox Central, ain't they? Yep. Hammonds is Knox Central. You don't know nothing about this stuff, son. You're a 4A guy. We love Hammonds. We love that dude. He likes to give me a hard time, so I got to get it. I got to give it as good as I get it. Bartlett at Arlington, Lee Teat. This is one of the few big games we've had over in West Tennessee because, Shelby County shut down. But Bartlett, and this was a huge – I put this game up on Twitter, man. We had, I think, like 200 people voted on this game. 80% of them like Bartlett to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going Bartlett, man. Their wins, they got some quality wins this year on Christian Brothers, South Haven, St. Benedict, Houston, and their only loss is to CPA.
Yeah.
And, ain't too many people going to beat them from the public school side.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm going to go Bartlett, brother.
Robert, is that Giammo?
Giammo.
Okay, thank you, Lee. I'm glad you're smart on the bunch. 295 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns last week against Houston. And that Houston squad was a semifinal team last year, right?
Yes.
I think so. They faced Ravenwood, I believe, in the semifinals. So
right.
Good squad there.
And they had a real good running back.
Yeah. And you don't remember his name either, do you?
I think Mr. Football finalist.
Yeah. I don't want it. We're getting too old, man. Remember names. Wilson Central and Laverne. You're right, though. He was a stud. It'll probably come to me about 5 minutes after the show's over.
Yep.
Wilson Central and Laverne. Somebody will probably put it on here if you keep an eye on it.
Yep.
We got pretty smart followers over here, except for Hammonds.
Oh, Lord.
Wilson Central and Laverne. The Wolverines. Mike Woodward Lee doing a phenomenal job there in his first year as head coach.
5-2.
5-2, 3-0 in region play, and this is a team that you boys over at Stewart's Creek have got to get past if you hope to win a region title.
Well, they already beat us.
Oh, that's right. They did. You're exactly right.
They did.
You're exactly. Well, you need to hope for some help then, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And that wouldn't help you this week because they're not in Wilson Central isn't in the region.
No.
Wilson Central's beating Rossview, Kenwood, Gallatin, lost to Springfield, BGA, Mount Juliet, and Hendersonville. And you got the Hendersonville. That's what I was trying to think of. That's one. I think that's the only game you got on me last week. You had Hendersonville. I kind of stomped your little rear end last week.
You did. It was bad. I told you, man.
You'll probably. Well, we hadn't split too much this week.
You got me pretty good on that. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go with Laverne on this because I'm gonna tell you something. Ray Banner is for real.
He is.
He is for real. The Lebanon game, Laverne lost that Lebanon game, and it was a battle between two tailbacks. DeQuante Shannon over there at Lebanon, he's a really solid kid. He ran the ball well that night. But I think if Laverne can hold Wilson Central to a couple of stops per half, that's going to be the key to it. If Wilson Central grinds it out, they'll probably walk away with it. But I think Laverne can do it.
Well, Wilson Central played Mount Juliet tough, and I thought, and that's kind of what I was basing my opinion on last week.
Well, they definitely have a tougher schedule so far.
And then Mount Juliet got beat by Rossview.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, how I got to believe, I don't know, but I got to believe Mount Juliet may have had some kids out last week. I don't know that, but I was shocked by that.
Yeah.
Mount Juliet getting beat.
I'm going to go Laverne. I got to try to catch you some way, shape, or form. I mean,
Well, I'll give you a chance. I'll go Wilson Central. What's everybody else got?
I got Wilson Central.
Wilson Central.
They smart.
I don't know about that. Laverne, I think at 5-2, 3-0, in a tough region.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a smart pick, but I'm not the smartest guy, so I'm gonna go Wilson Central. Marshall County, Giles County
Round
rematch. Lee, 38-14. Marshall County won this game in the first round.
At Giles.
Yeah, it's at Giles. Our boy Bryson Hammonds, despite the fact he's Clint's son, a pretty darn good little football player.
Yes, sir.
I think he might be the edge in this one.
I do too. I don't know that Giles County's got 24 points better between the last two meetings.
I don't either.
And actually probably Marshall County has gotten better, I think, since that game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Marshall County.
I think Giles County is a tough place to play. David O'Connor, coach, Thomas Osteen coached under David O'Connor. So I think those guys know each other real well. So this is just a straight out talent standpoint, I think, between the two teams. I don't know. I don't think anybody has a coaching edge in this one. So I'm going to agree with you. I think Marshall County might have a little bit deeper roster.
Yeah, and I think Bryson's playing lights out right now.
He is, and they got some hogs on that line, man.
Yes,
They're some big old boys. Them and that Springfield team, man, that was some heavy hitters up front.
Yes, sir.
All right, Lee. Dresden and McKenzie. Another game over in West Tennessee. Everybody likes MC, don't they?
Yeah. He says rain could be a factor.
Yeah, could be.
It very well could be.
Could be. Dresden and McKenzie. I like McKenzie. Lee Teat, I was kind of on the Rebels to start the year. They're 3-2, 1-1. Beat Gibson County 56-7.
Yeah.
The only losses.
Peabody and USJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, McKenzie.
Yeah, I think so. Dresden, man, I hate the fact that since Coach Rain left, that program has just dropped off the map. I mean, they were ultra competitive there for, 6, 7, 8 years, and then when Coach Rain left, they just they hadn't been able to put anything together.
Yeah, I'm gonna go McKenzie.
I'm gonna go McKenzie also. But Montgomery Central, Springfield, our buddy Dustin Wilson, off to a very good start, 5-1, 2-0. They were off last week. They haven't played since that Marshall County game we saw them play, Lee.
Yeah.
71% of our Twitter followers at Tennessee Sports like Springfield. Montgomery Central was one of two teams. We haven't talked about this game, have we? Oh, McNairy Central was the other one, 7-3.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I talked about a 7-3 team. That was McNairy Central. That was the only two teams I know of in the whole state that went 7-3.
Did not get in the playoffs.
Did not make the playoffs. Montgomery Central was the other one. They're 2-2, 1-2 this year, Lee. They beat Portland, Clarksville Northwest, lost to Creekwood and Greenbrier. Only played 4 games. Lost to Greenbrier. That's your alumni, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
21-0. How's Greenbrier look this year? That kind of helped me decide this game here.
Better pick Springfield, buddy.
Jacket lover. Springfield Jackets.
Jackets.
I'm going with the Jackets. I think
they're
they
at home,
rebound.
and I think they roll in this game, really.
Yeah.
This is an interesting game right here.
It is, Lee, and I'm still outside shot. I might go to this one. I don't know for sure. Long drive to make the rain. You ain't gonna make it with me, so.
Yeah.
Shelbyville, Cleveland. Our buddy Marty Wheeler.
Buddy.
Hosting our buddy Josh Puckett.
I think this is going to be a shootout.
I think so too. Neither one of the defenses have played very well. Cleveland gave up 42 points to Bradley Central last week. Shelbyville gave up 44 points to Lincoln County.
Mm-hmm.
So this may be first team to 50 wins it. What's your thoughts? You was leaning Cleveland, wasn't you?
That's a long trip too for Shelbyville.
Trip. About 2 hours.
Yep. See, the thing that worries me about, I was thinking about Shelbyville first, Mike, but they struggled against Tullahoma. They lost to Tullahoma and Marshall County, which are big up front.
Yep. How's Marshall or how's Cleveland's size up front? I don't even know.
They're physical too, the way they play.
Well, Hammond says Eagles, and his team beat Eagles. So
Jacket Lover's going Shelbyville too.
I think I'm gonna go Shelbyville, Lee. I think that front line for the Eagles is getting better. You know, Cade had 280 yards rushing a couple of weeks ago, and then they had Lakota Young rushed for 192 yards, 3 scores last week. DeMarcus Smalls ran for 195 yards and 4 touchdowns. So that's just between those two kids. You had 400 yards rushing last week. I think that front line for Shelbyville is really coming into their own, and they're going to be controlling the clock, and they're going to be running the ball, and if it rains, that's even better. So I'm going Golden Eagles.
I'm going to go Shelbyville. I
talked you into that, didn't I?
I was on the fence, but I'm going to go Shelbyville.
You didn't want to give me a game, did you?
No.
I don't know, though. I mean, it just makes sense to me that, why that running game's going now. And now, look, I saw him against Page.
Yeah.
And that line is Puckett said that. He said he wants them to be a lot tougher than what they are.
Yeah.
And I think they're getting tougher every week.
Yep.
He can get his defense playing better. They're going to be a contender. Greenville at Sullivan South, Lee. This will be a really good game right here. Sullivan South's undefeated. Greenville's beat Austin East, Tennessee. They lost to Daniel Boone. They lost to Science Hill. Those two good teams. Kind of a history between these two teams. Greenville's going to dominate.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that this is your normal Greenville team. I mean, 4-2. How often? When's the last time you saw them at that? Been a while, ain't it?
Lost to Daniel Boone and Science Hill, but I think they're turning things around a little bit right now.
Yeah.
I'm going Greenville.
I like them also. I think Sullivan South. I think the Rebels at 6-0, 3-0. They beat Cherokee, Granger, North Green, Sullivan Central, and Volunteer. Volunteer, pretty good squad. Cherokee, pretty decent squad. But I don't see a signature win there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go Greenville Green Devils.
Yes, sir.
Dang, look at there. Jacket Lover says Sullivan South. Yeah, he can't pick Greenville. I understand. I understand, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Bledsoe at Monterey, Lee. This is Battle of Unbeatens. 70% of our fan base like the Warriors of Bledsoe County. That's another game I considered going to. Marion County got shut out by Bledsoe last week, 17-0.
Bledsoe County,
big. Monterey beat Joe Burns 31-0. Mason Bowman, running back from Monterey, rushed for 195 yards, scored twice against Joe Burns. That doesn't sway you any? Bledsoe County. They got an impressive resume. They beat Whitwell. They beat East Ridge. They beat Tyner. They beat Sequatchie County, and of course they beat Marion County. So I think their record's a lot more impressive.
I do too. I like Bledsoe.
Bledsoe County. What we got over here? Lawn Man, Holman, Jacket Lover.
Yep.
Big Dave. Everybody likes him. Clint Hammonds likes them, so we'll go with it. Bledsoe in the house. But we're about closing. We're closing in on it here, fellas.
This
Quit
one got
yawning,
canceled.
Lee. Yep, they did. You're right. I'm going to take
Red Bank, Ray
I'm
County.
going to take Ray County, 1-0.
1-0.
I hated that, man. That's one of the games I was considering going to. Lee had 2 undefeated teams there. And we're going to cut her down right here, and Roy Dillard's been waiting on this one all night. Will I do it to Vic Grider again? That's the big question mark.
74%.
Like Meigs County. How about that?
Well, buddy, it's at Meigs, too.
Meigs County's beating Sweetwater, Greenback, Cumberland Gap, Rockwood, a really good Rockwood team that knocked on Night off last last week. Beat them handily. Beat Men's Central, South Pitt. Only played 4 games, Lee. They beat Sequatchie County, Grundy, Lookout Valley, Hunland. They really haven't played.
Haven't been tested yet.
Bob Robertson's got a good team, but he's not on a level with South Pittsburg. And
Right.
I love Bob Robertson, but
Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, Mike, South Pittsburg wins this ball game.
South Pitt on the road.
Yep.
So it just leaves me, Roy.
South Pittsburg wins this game, and I think the difference in this game between 2 years, last year and this year, is Sanders.
Sanders has a big game.
Yes, sir.
You don't think Hunter Frame is a factor?
I think they're all a factor, but I think
He's a difference
I
maker.
think Braden Sanders is a difference maker this year, coming in with decision making, and he's got more weapons out wide to throw to. It's not going to be so one-dimensional.
Well, Roy and them's going to put me in the outhouse if I pick Meigs County, which is kind of making me lean toward Meigs.
Hey, Meigs is legit. This is going to be an awesome game.
You know what team I had in the preseason, Lee, is the Head and Shoulders, way above all the competition in Class 1A.
South Pittsburg.
South Pittsburg. South Pittsburg gets it done tomorrow night.
I think so.
It's going to be a good one,
It
but
will.
South Pitt gets it done,
I think
despite the fact they got Roy Dillard rooting for them.
I think this year especially, they just got way too many weapons.
Yeah. I agree.
Any of these kids that we've been talking about, when they touch the football, they can take it to the house on you.
Yep.
It's not just, I mean, they're all get touchdown guys. That's what scares me about this team. They're just explosive everywhere.
2 really, really good coaches, 2 really,
Yes.
really good teams. Man, if you're up in that area, and Lee, I'm not ruling out. I'm kicking it around, man. I ain't decided for sure. I'm considering going to that one. I'd like to see that one. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be like it was last year. It's going to be a good one. So, who knows? I may be up there, guys. May be up there. We'll see. All right, Lee. We're going to wrap it up here, my friend. Appreciate all the chatter over here on the live chat. Appreciate you guys. Lee Teat, I appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, man.
We appreciate coaches. We had Kenny Morson at Fayetteville. We had Coach Craney. Knoxville. I'm sorry, folks. I'm getting old. Can't remember everything. Of course, we had Vic Grider, and then we finished off with Shawn Witten and Elizabethton.
Yes,
so we appreciate those guys jumping on with us. Always great to watch or to talk to quality coaches, man, and we had some good ones on tonight.
Yes, sir.
So, Elaborate Images. Appreciate Marcia Howard hooking us up with everything for the
Might give me one of these long sleevers.
Yeah, it's nice, man. I like
Might give me one of them. Get on there and get me one.
Yep, she's got them. All right, for Lee Teat, I'm Mike Molder. This is a Friday main event, and I'll go ahead and I'll play a little bit more scrimmage video for some of the scrimmage video we didn't see, and then I'll conclude the show. But for you guys that just here to see me and Lee, that's going to conclude the show. We appreciate you fellas. We'll see you next week, 6 o'clock.
Number 21, Luke Walters, the ball carrier. Out to about the 40, and a Brentwood first down. End zone pass intended for Luke Walters, falls incomplete. 2nd and 10. Quarterback keeper Out to about the 46. Brings up 3rd and 4.
21's pretty fast.
Renzo's pass falls incomplete.